I don't know if you can see it very well. That's Santa Barbara in the background, just leaving. I'm approaching the oil fields of those platforms out there. Above me are countless meteors. I prefer to say that I am being showered by shooting stars. Needless to say, these pre-dawn hours are gorgeous. Here comes the sun. I can now read my compass without using a flashlight. I can see the swells that have been rocking me since 5:30 this morning. It's about 6:45. I can see the silhouette of the Channel Islands. Up ahead is famous Rincon Point. See that swell right there? In about a half an hour, that swell is going to peel itself around Rincon Point in a double overhead, perfectly formed, glassy, hollow, crystal, beautiful wave. Some surfer's going to catch it, and he'll have an unbelievably long, beautiful ride. He'll hang 5 so long his toes will get sunburned. His legs will get tired. He'll have to sit down on his board just to rest halfway through. He'll take it all the way from that outer point to the highway. He'll talk about that ride till he dies. I got a true story about Rincon. I surfed it naked once. At least that's what my friends told me one groggy morning. I believe it's true. Wouldn't have been the first time I used nothing but a board and some wax. I can just barely see Venus now. Well, no, actually, Venus is pretty bright. So are the oil platforms. See them out there? Yeah. That's what feeds us. Can't live without them. Glub, glub, glub. High surf advisories have been broadcast for all the way up and down this coast. Big waves. Big winds, too. We'll see how that goes later. It's 10:15. Almost 5 hours into my voyage. I'm off of Ventura right now. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Oh, asked me if I want to join some wireless. Let me turn it off. I just heard Morse code for the first time on the radio, ever. Well, on this radio. And I'm in the brown water, just next to the blue water. The brown water has a tiny bit of a south current helping me along. And there's a sailboat out there. This is cool. I'm making some pretty good time. I think I'll try to get that wireless. Hi, Chi-Chi. You feeling okay, buddy? Huh? Chi-Chi, feel okay? Now, don't I look salty? It's time for the noon sighting. Actually, I do know how to take a sighting with this. I just don't know how to reduce it to find a line of position and tell me where I'm at. But I'm learning. Anyway, here's the story. It is almost noon. That'll make it about 7.5 hours after I left. And it'll give me about 7.5 hours of sunlight to continue with. Now, this northwest wind is starting to come in now. It's filling in a little bit. They're forecasting it to blow a gale by the end of the day. I got my mainsail reefed down to its last reef. I've got my jib ready to hoist. And I should be ready for it. Hopefully, I'll be way past Point Doom and into the waters of Santa Monica, Redondo Beach, and maybe San Pedro. I'd like to make San Pedro because after this northwest wind stops, then the Santa Anas take their turn. And I really don't want to be out in those. They get up to like 50, 60 miles an hour. Right now, I've got Santa Cruz Island and Anacapa Island off my starboard, and I have Point Hueneme off my port. And that brings me about halfway to Malibu, maybe halfway to Santa Monica. And if I press it, if I get greedy for distance, I might be able to make San Pedro in the waning hours of the sunlight. And if not, I do have a half of a waxing moon coming up. Yeah, half a waxing moon. How about that? It'll be a full moon by the time I reach my journey's end in Newport Beach. That kind of poetic coincidence I had no idea I'd have when I left San Francisco. But I'll take it. Anyway, I'm going to get back to work. Ta-ta for now. It's almost 1 o'clock. Up ahead, that's Point Magoo. They shoot intercontinental ballistic missiles off of here. You know, one of the reasons I quit drinking about 7 years ago was I just got sick and tired of my dreams not coming true. Coming up on Point Doom, just beyond that is Malibu Surfrider Beach, the Boo. My original plan was to sail down from Santa Barbara and anchor at Malibu and surf my butt off for a couple days. But if these Santa Ana winds start blasting away like forecast, it'll make it too dangerous. So I'm going to try to head on down into San Pedro, find a safe port. Safe port? I was born and raised in San Pedro. That's my spiritual womb. Can't wait to get there. Hi, I'm checking in. It's almost 4:30. I'm just rounding Point Doom. I've got about 3 hours of sunlight left, maybe 2 hours of fuel, and hardly any wind. So I'll be making a decision soon, and you'll be the first to know. The sun's almost set. I don't know if you can see, there's Pepperdine University, and just to the right of that is Malibu Point. So around the corner would be Malibu Pier, where I might anchor. We'll see. The sun is setting. Life is good. Sunset at Malibu Beach. Doesn't get much better than that. I'm gonna drop the hook around here somewhere. Wake up in the morning, have some Spam and Spuds, and put on my wetsuit and hang 5.
That didn't happen. Just as I was dropping anchor, 2 county lifeguards came over and warned me that the Santa Anas would be super severe this time. So I continued southeast into the dimming light. Virtually out of fuel, with my sails up, I managed to stay 1 puff ahead of the growing Santa Anas. Using the Santa Monica Pier's giant neon-lit Ferris wheel as a signpost and the spot-lit American flag on the outer jetty, I sailed into Marina del Rey Harbor and onto a safe dock. Later in my bunk, I listened as the growing winds howled louder and louder through my rigging. Winds that were beginning to fan Southern California's perfect storm of fire, leaving many people dead and hundreds shelterless.